Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. It really goes to show the mindset of the SNP government when you get Shona Robison coming out and talking about the 2p national insurance cut and saying it's not fair. Now, what she means is it's not that it's not fair to Scots working and getting, to keep more of their money. What it is it's not fair for the SNP government because it means that they are getting less money in tax. And they don't like that. They don't want people to have their own money. They want to tax people so that they can spend it on that wet dream of independence. It gives them the fizz knowing that they've got this dream that they're spending money on. They're not spending it on anything useful that people need. Far from it. All the services are falling apart because nobody cares. Like Angus Robertson said, nobody cares. Well, nobody in the SNP government gives a monkeys, that's for sure. But she's up there and she's complaining. And then within that complaint as well, she also shows how immensely dim she is because she doesn't understand what the word progressive means, especially when it's related to taxation. And we're going to have a look at this and laugh at the sheer mindless stupidity of a woman with an IQ of 86 on a good day. Let's have a look. So Shona Robison says national insurance cut for Scots isn't fair, as Jeremy Hunt defends the windfall tax move. Well, it's not fair because it doesn't affect everyone. But what she meant is it's not fair for her. Both the Chancellor and the SNP Finance Secretary appeared in BBC's Good Morning Scotland show with the Deputy First Minister saying she didn't accept criticism from charities about the council tax freeze. Well, she won't accept it, but the fact is it doesn't matter whether she's accepting it or not. The problem is that council tax freeze has adversely affected charities. Of course, she's not going to accept it because she can't accept that she's ever got anything wrong. That's the SNP's disease, isn't it? They're never wrong about everything. Whatever they do, it's, oh, well, it was the best thing. It's right, of course. I mean, it's that kind of mindset that leads to concentration camps and Sobibor and Auschwitz and things. There's no going back. There's that personality of cult. And everything has to be, don't say personality of cult of personality. And it has to be this, that and the other. And, what the leader says is what we do. And no one dare question anything. You have that one monolithic mindset. As Fergus Ewing found to his cost, you're not allowed to think. You're not allowed to have any variance of thought. You must think as the leader thinks or you are the enemy. And that, of course, is very, very dangerous. That's dangerous territory. But anyway, Shona Robison has suggested Scots should not receive a national insurance cut. Because, hey, why should you have money in your pocket when it could be in hers? If your children go hungry, that's fine. Just be aware that as they're sitting there hungry, stomachs rumbling, looking at you, losing weight, just show them the pretty brochures that they've made this week and say, look, children, look at you, read the brochures instead of having food. Anyway, she said she didn't accept her council tax freeze was not progressive. Now, I don't know what she thinks that the word progressive means, but progressive means you progress up the scale. So as you earn more, you pay more in taxation. But what she's done by freezing this council tax and enforcing it is to say to people who are in the biggest houses who pay the most council tax and who would have the bigger rise, you're benefiting more than the poor. And in fact, you're benefiting way more than the very poor because they don't pay council tax in the first place. So you've got this wonderful system where you have to fork out all this money to councils in order to cover a council tax freeze that adversely affects richer people more than it affects poor people. And it doesn't affect very poor people at all. So it's done nothing for them. The SNP Finance Secretary predictably criticised Jeremy Hunt's spending plans, although it's doubtful anything he announced would have been backed by the Nats. Among the Chancellor's measures were the further 2p cut in national insurance, a measure expected to see a £680 average annual tax boost for more than 2.4 million workers in Scotland. But Miss Robison refused to welcome it. when she appeared on Radio Scotland's Good Morning Scotland show on Thursday, because she's miserable and she doesn't like the idea of, people being happy. Happy people don't vote for the SNP. The SNP want a scorched earth of miserable people, impoverished and awful and leading, abject lives, so that they can stand there, the son of sons, going, look, come, vote, visit us, join us as we lead you to utopia. And that's their plan. It's the same plan as every other single monolithic dictatorship in history. Our way or the highway. And by highway, they mean death camp. Anyway, asked by host Gary Robison why the tax cut was a bad thing, Miss Robison said it was not progressive and it isn't fair. And asked directly if she would have cut national insurance, she replied, our tax policy, as you look at it, is progressive. It clearly isn't. And she claimed the council tax freeze was fully funded. It isn't. And said it actually helps lower income households. It doesn't. She said it's because they pay a larger proportion of their income on council tax. They may well do. But the ones benefiting the most in terms of money are the wealthy. And the very poor who don't pay council tax, no benefit at all. And that's why she thinks it's progressive. Someone buy her a dictionary. Although beforehand you better teach her to read. She certainly can't count. I've seen the budget. Anyway, when Mr. Robison pointed out that charities said the council tax freeze disproportionately benefits those in the biggest houses, potentially they're the better off, and that the freeze was not progressive, the Deputy First Minister irritably responded, well, I don't accept that. Because of course you don't, Shona. You can't accept it. It's true, and it makes you look stupid and wrong, and so you can't accept it. However, to anyone else out there with a brain, or at least half a brain, they'll go, yeah, they're right, and you are stupid. Miss Robison also struggled to explain her party's stance on the windfall tax. Mr Hunt announced the Energy Profits Levy was going to be extended by a year, a plan that puts him at odds with the Scottish Tories. Indeed, and I've covered this, Ross may well be on resignation watch, and he's not the only one. Anyway, Labour has claimed the SNP's opposition to the extension puts that to the political right of the Tories, and the SNP is also calling for a tax break for big energy companies at a time. Miss Robison is hammering middle earners with new rates of income tax, so she's hammering the middle earners, but letting the billionaires of the power game get away with not paying even more tax. I'm still not seeing this progressive tax that you think you understand, Shona. I think you're possibly mistaking progressive with I'm a moron. Anyway, she said the SNP supported the levy when it was implemented, but claimed the sector said it risks investment and it puts in jeopardy the progress and investment needed for net zero and puts jobs at risk. Anyone putting jobs at risk, it's the SNP. She claimed successive UK governments had seen the North Sea as a cash cow. Well, yes, it is. And one only has to go back a few years when the SNP were talking about independence back in 2014 and how was it going to be funded. Come on, Shona, tell us in your magic words. Use your big words. Use your indoor voice. That's right. Oil, you silly woman. Anyway, she said, you raised tax, or he said, sorry, to her, you raised tax for some people in your last budget. The Tories want to tax big business more. You're setting yourself squarely against that, saying it's working Scots who should pay more. That's a very awkward position for your party, isn't it? She responded, we support the windfall tax introduction, so we support it as it is because we do believe the company should pay their fair share and we want them to invest in net zero. Right, so why are you voting against it then? Anyway, appearing earlier in the show, Mr Hunt denied throwing his Scottish colleagues under the bus. Well, he would say that, wouldn't he? Because Hunt is a bit of a hunt. And he said it was a difficult decision for them. It's a difficult decision for anyone to vote Tory at the moment. I tell you, it's going to be Reform. Reform are going to snaffle up a lot of disaffected Tories. It could be the lowest Tory vote possibly ever. I think certainly in my lifetime. Anyway, he said we strongly support the oil and gas industry, but we're going to tax it. He supports it, but taxes it. You see, the thing is, they did give the extra oil field licenses, but they're taxing it because they need the money, and that's fine. Don't care. Tax it away. They're billionaires. Tax the power companies. Any company that's sitting there making billions, tax it. But not too heavy, because of course a lot of these are going into the pension funds. So you need that. You have to have that mix. Anyway, I'll round off there and come up. There you go. It's obvious. Shona Robison doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't understand what the word progressive means. She thinks taxing workers rather than billion dollar companies is better. She wants to drive investment away. She doesn't want people to come to Scotland and work hard. You know, she's disenfranchising people from the ethic of work and thinks that she's doing good. Of course she thinks that, because she's a fucking moron. I'll stop now, because otherwise she'll just annoy me, and I don't want that on a Friday. Thanks for watching. Do pay attention now. Do hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell. Leave a like. Leave a comment. Please share the video. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.